Anybody there? I gotta refresh my computer and I'll know. So I go live on my phone and I can watch the text and stuff on the computer. I can watch the boop after I mute them. Text and stuff. Mute. So anyhow, I wish it would just show me the chat, and there's nobody here yet. So nobody's watching, so, or no, at least nobody's come in. Oh, I got 2 watching. Must be me and someone else. So, anybody got any questions or anything? I got some information here. Like Eric Sloan, Reverence for Wood. And he says in here that basically that wood is art. So if you're looking in the wood, you're looking in the art. The art is his drawings. He said, well, all pieces of wood are a work of art. They're works of art. You make a statue out. Even that driftwood Forrest has. That's the wood that's in the art. And his driftwood even matches my guy that's the lumberjack with his foot up on the stump. So, and I found there's a bird in a nest he's looking up at, right at the blaze. And then the fisherman that's on the cover here, I found this guy on the rock and where his fishing line comes down, and it goes down to, I believe this is another rock. It could be a tree. So I'm looking. He put the map right on the front of the book, right in plain sight. And people won't admit that. As I questioned him, I asked him, because I found the one rock formation that is him riding on top of a flying bird, and he's got his fishing line hanging out in front of the bird down into the well of the tree. And there's a rock shaped like a fish with the triangle cut out of the mouth. And then there's the decoy treasure rock. It's just a rock. You get up, you take the picture from 100 yards away. Once you get up there to the spot, it's just a rock. But there's a hook there hanging from the top of the bird where I call it fly fishing. He's riding on a bird and fishing. So, and he's a pilot. He was a bird. They called those guys birds. And the blaze, one of the blazes is a bird. There's more than one blaze, but there's the final blaze, and I believe it's the one that says Fenn, and it has the fish shape above it, and in front of the fish shape is 2 hooks, or those 2 hooks can be 2 omegas, but also the 2 ends in his name are also omegas. But the one at the blaze is made of mammoths, and the 2 ends come together, and the trunks are, so you got the omega, and there's the trunks. And I got Moses parting the Rocky Mountains, the same Moses that's in Once Upon a While. And I was wondering if there's some, you rearrange those letters Once Upon a While might have some clues. But I've been up there below the blaze looking a couple times, and by the time I get up there, it's afternoon, and then the sun's setting 4:30. It's gone, and it's getting dark. And it's below freezing. It's below 32 degrees, pretty much every day right now up there. And before he said that that the treasure is not in a cave, a tunnel, or a mine, basically, places where you would find snakes. Well, there are no snakes here at all. So in these little caves and things, and I haven't found any mines, but I'm expecting to find a passage into this into the rocks where these Clovis people had 6 people now. Hey, Sean. I appreciate fans, and I don't like the trolls, the haters, the you're doing it wrong, we don't like your music on your intro. Well, I love that intro, and it's not going to change. Maybe I can get the band to give me a better copy of the sound. Maybe maybe I can add a little more bass to it because it's kind of high pitched. Maybe I can trim that off. I don't know. I'll give it a try. But that chant, that helps me. Like the frogs in the box. I got frogs on my hat, and you see it's the same pair of frogs up here, but those ones. Okay, yeah, I can explain the backwards thing. These frogs up here are exactly the same as these, except this one I think is a copy, and I think this one might be real gold, and that one's the original. Somebody didn't want, and they made themselves a real gold one, and somebody sold it as one of these that aren't real gold. They're plated. So, okay, now the backward thing. George Washington's backwards. You know, his face, you know, if that's his nose, you know, in the original paintings that way, on the dollar, or it's that way, I guess. So they're backwards. You read the book from the front to the back. If you're one of those people that, you know, you mainly get books, you look at the pictures and the captions and stuff. You look at the pictures are a map that go from the back of the book to the front of the book. The first drawing in the book is the final clue, except he added this one here. When that last guy died, he said he would come up with something, you know, to make it safer and stuff like that. And I suggested, hey, how about giving a clue for anybody that's really close that would make it easy. He's right next to where it says Fenn with the fish and the hooks. Is this guy in the rock formation? His pole, you got to imagine the pole. The pole's imaginary. And this comes down below. He's up on the cliff here. The line represents the bottom of the cliff. It could represent the bottom of the cliff. It could represent, I'm pretty sure it's the bottom of the cliff. And this is like scree down here, and then there's grass and things, and there's big rocks with spaces underneath them. And but okay, so yeah, and you know, I've got some things that guys holding the tombstone over this side, some of them they're holding it over this side. A lot of the tombs have figures holding tombstones, holding dead people laying on their backs. And I just watched a video about that very same thing, that the Neanderthal, the old ancient people, would do this thing where their tomb is them looking to the west. But I think that they're looking for the new dawn. Well, the new dawn would be in the east, so I don't know. The guy was confused with his left and right and west and east. But what do you think? Fenn prayed to Thor in school. Well, I found Anubis, and I found Enki up there. Enki sitting in his chair, and Anubis, and Moses there with his staff, and just like his Moses. And my Moses is on the second terrace. There's terraces of mammoths, and you can walk across their heads. They're all ear to ear going across, and you can walk across each level. You can walk across. Well, Moses is up on the second terrace. just like Forrest Fenn's Moses is on the second step of his stairway. And yeah, I've got the pictures there in Forrest Fenn Fanatics on Facebook. Got the picture of that. Played the Thor. Prayed to Thor. Well, I go up there and I talk to, when I find new carvings in the rocks and these tombs, and the guy's sitting there smiling, and they're all waving. They got their hands up. They're going, "Hey, look at me!" And I go, "Hey, how you doing?" But and I go up there. I put on my elephant mask so they know that I know that they're there. If they see that mammoth head or that elephant mask, he doesn't really have mammoth ears. All I got to do is basically change the ears, and he's a mammoth. But it's kind of fun, and the spirits are talking. Like the thing that says Fenn with the fish, that popped up on Christmas morning. So it has nothing to do with the Garden of Gods. Oh, no, it's not in the Garden of Gods, but this could be the Garden of Eden. Being Moses is there, Enki is there. Enki supposedly came down. They were high in the mountains at the top of the earth, high in the mountains, and this is a very spiritual place. Enki's there, Anubis is there, and my Enki and Anubis are 7,000 years older than any other Enki and Anubis on the planet. So it's pretty. It confirms it. It did nothing with the Garden of the Gods. Yeah. There's some carvings there at Garden of the Gods, and I see some things in there, but it's not there. His blaze is a fan with the fish. And yesterday, I went down to the local university and talked with two professors of archaeology and history, and the one guy that I initially called the one Professor Goddard, Dr. Goddard, talked to him, and he asked me to come down, and I went down and showed him all my pictures, and it was a wow, yeah, yep. They just agreed. Yep, I see it, and I know, yep, you're right. He said the only problem is the date, because the lichens that are on it only live 1,000 years. So if there was lichens on there that lived for 10,000 years or so, or 14,000 years, they could date those lichens. But what I got to do, I got to find a charcoal area. It shouldn't be hard to find some areas where they had fires. Up in the temples, there should be. I'm sure they had fires around there. So that charcoal carbon can be carbon dated. And I just read that they can date the paint on the artwork and paintings. I got to catch up with what Sean's saying here. There's nothing to do with the garden. Okay, well, you did that. Another question for you. Do you remember in his first book, he talks about pies and the pie lady and nickels? Okay, well, the totem that I found last year, right, the totem has a triangle chin, and that comes from the story about Miss Ford. His teacher had a face like a can opener. Now, beside the chin, there's an area like here, right? And the little guy sitting there, he's more like a Stay Puft Marshmallow guy, but he's not holding he's sitting in the same position, but he's holding the box shape. He's holding the square shape and not a pie shape, So it's just subtle thing, it's very similar. Just like the Model A cowl that I found in the D of wood. When you look down, you can see it on Google Earth. You're not going to find it searching for wood on Google Earth, but you can see it because it's a visual thing. It's not the name of the place. And you see the WOOD is cut out of the forest, and the Model A was in the D. The helicopter and the ZPU gun were in the W. The creek from the first blaze ends in the W of wood. That ceases. You find the blaze, look quickly down. Okay, so you're following the creek from the blaze, and it ends in the wood. Boom. Then I found the gearbox. It's its helicopter and the parts strewn around. It's old tow truck gearbox that fell off the road from way up above, and they couldn't lift it out of there and left it there, and with a bunch of cheap metal parts from the vehicle. Boy, Sean, I gotta keep, because my explanations are a little longer, but might make the video a little long here, answering your questions. Do you remember in his first book he talks about pies? Okay. Now, yeah, the nickels are, they're kind of, don't know about the nickels, but you take the pie, him hiding with the pie that he took from work, and there's subtle hints. They're not like the Model A cowl. You got the 50 caliber hole in the nose of the Model A instead of a 50 caliber hole in his F100. It's a subtle hint. That 50 caliber hole matches. It's in the D and it's on the Model A cowl. I got 3 things that say this is correct, and I've got that sitting right outside my RV, that Model A cowl. So, okay. More particularly, the reason why Fenn said he would slip out in the night and stick a nickel under her gravestone. Okay, well, see, now his blaze is from, it says Fenn up there, but that's up on the head. The whole cliff is a human figure, and that's the head up there. And the video I posted just before this live thing, you can see the light on the rocks, the head's up there and the light coming down. It looks like an arm reaching down, and he's sticking it in that crack at the bottom of the cliff, basically. It's not at the top, it's there at the bottom. And if you look back a couple of videos ago, I had where I was up there and I was looking downhill with my back to the cliff, and I heard a smack, like a rock exploding coming down the hill, and I just darted away from it and across the hill away from it and dove in behind a rock that if anything's coming down, it's going to roll over the top of that and miss me. So if you go up there, you got to be very aware of what's going on. You don't want to get hit by one of them rocks, or at this time of year, it could have been just a big icicle coming down. They make a loud explosion when they hit, too. When me and a friend, we went up near Mount Evans one time, and there's some rocks on the way up there, and we walked out there, and there was snow, and we were taking big snowballs, like they would make snowballs, and we throw them off the cliff. You should try that one time and listen to the sound they make when they hit the bottom. It's an explosion. Another question. Remember, the first book talks about pies, and then we got one I did. Reason why I say this is because it's interesting that Buffalo Bill's gravesite is littered with nickels, and that it is found well known for eating pies. Yeah. I have a friend actually that lives less than a mile from Buffalo Bill's grave over there up on top of Lookout Mountain above Golden, Colorado. That's a fun road to go up, and I've been up and down that road many times. And actually, I think somebody came and they stole his body and took it up to Wyoming. And I don't know if he's there or if he's up in Wyoming. Who knows where Buffalo Bill ended up. But I guess his sister lived in Denver and stuff, and that's why he's up there. Message retracted. Okay, well, I read your questions, so you didn't need to retract them. How many you got? 4 watching still? What happened to the other 2? Okay. Oh, it just replaced them all with retracted. So, yeah, that's okay. I read them. What else was I gonna? Yeah, I found the legs and right below the flying Fenn fish and I found the wow that so I've got there's the alpha on the bottom is the alpha and the omega. Could be Homer Brown. Yeah, Homer Brown is very possibly a beaver, or it's a guy named Brown that was associated with Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, and he had stolen some money and hid it in this area, and yeah, there's something, but Brown is and right above where my Beaver Brown is there's a cabin up there where this other Brown may have been his cabin, his hideout up in the mountains. I don't know. There was one cabin that was about 4 logs high. The top of it's gone, and then I don't know if it's corral or something, but a square of wood logs that it might have been. It was probably the corral, but it could have been another cabin up there. I don't know. But that's right above the blaze, and there's some really neat stuff up above the blaze. And that's another hike to get up on top. It's a little further. It's about a mile hike to get up there. That kills me. But Fenn said everything was geographic location, so maybe an animal is out of the question. Well, an animal's home. Somebody had told me that his grandmother was a Native American, and she had said to Homer Brown, and he asked her what's a Homer Brown, this years ago before the poem, and the guy said that she said to Homer Brown was where the beaver lived. It's the beaver dam, and I do there are some beaver dams and things in the area. One right by my blaze, but one thing people say don't quite the hint of riches new and old. His treasure is new. Okay, 6 watching. Okay, so his treasure is new, but he's also hinting that there's an old treasure, and this old treasure relates to the hundreds of French tombstones in Vietnam that there's hundreds of dead Frenchmen associated with the treasure here. And the area is named after, it's got the mountain and the creek there named for this missing treasure up there. And yeah, warm water, if you want to know, warm water's halt 1,000 feet is the deepest hot spring. Halts at 1,000 feet down. So maybe I'm looking for something 1,000 feet below the blaze. That's a clue, because 1,000 feet below the blaze would be, within 500 feet of a road, basically. So it's I got it nailed down. I don't know why Galazar's is 1,500 views. It's I love it. Yeah, go ahead, follow him. But you see, I won't tell you exactly where things are, but I'll give you more hints. And because if I told you where it is, it's my treasure. If you find it, if you figure it out and go there on your own, then you can have it, but I'm not going to tell you exactly where things are. That's not, how it works. You know? Yeah, and I went back up there, and I got some more pictures from the winter, because in the winter there's no leaves on the aspen trees, and you can see more of the art on the rocks. Yep. So yeah, up here I got my this is my little eagle necklace I got. His neck and his feet articulate, and it's an eagle holding an arrow up there. I got a crystal arrowhead here. I got this arrowhead I bought. I haven't found any yet, because the first one I'm going to find is something of Fenn's. This is a crystal rock I found. Other ones. This is arrowhead I made. And I got an alligator claw here from Florida. And I made spaghetti with that alligator. That was real good. Anybody else going to ask any questions? Got 8. Too bad it doesn't just say, who joined when they joined, so I know who joined and who's watching. But I guess the NSA doesn't like to have their names published. The government, we're all out in the open, and they're hiding. They're hiding under the rocks, Is the wood on the side of the hill? The wood, like I said, is art. Eric Sloan says wood is art. So you got to look at it as art. The art might be in the rock, it might be in the tree, it could be in the wood, but you're going to see figures up there. This place is so spiritual. I don't know if the spirits are forming the earth. I don't think so. But you get that feeling because there are so many figures up there. Oh yeah, it's Colorado. Gypsy's Kiss. They what they done is they're not trying to find the treasure. They're eliminating locations and limiting the possibilities. You don't want to limit the possibilities at all. Because that thing that you exclude may have been the thing that put you right there. Like I found the treasure. He says right before the poem, it says, the poem leads to the end of my rainbow and the treasure. So, if you're going to find the end of his rainbow, that rainbow has a beginning. You look for the beginning of his rainbow. And that's what I was doing. I was heading to the beginning of his rainbow. And when I went camping, where I was camping, I looked up the name of the place. And he says, you're looking for a blaze, right? Before that, there's no place for the meek, just heavy loads and water high. So what are the heavy loads? Heavy loads got to be something, man, what's the earth doesn't carry loads. It just sits there. So heavy loads is something that's carrying heavy loads, or heavy loads have been transported and stuff. And so think that. The heavy loads and water high. So you're looking for water high. You're looking for, I'll tell you, a lake. Okay? And when you look up the name of the lake, the meaning of the name of the lake is the same meaning as wise, and it's the same meaning as a blaze. So think of words that you can replace wise with. It's not smart. It's not smart lake. It's not clever lake. But something else that means wise. If you're wise, You're not stupid. So I was wise. I found that. But also, there's two omegas in the book because there's more than one of everything. The two omegas somewhat represent the two lives he's had, but really he's had a lot more than that. He had alpha, omega, 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 because he got shot down twice. In cancer, there's 3 omegas there. There's 3 things that could have killed him. and he talks about Shakespeare, entrances and exits, alphas and omegas. And was the alpha? The alpha is the beginning. The Enki. Enki created man, Moses, Adam and Eve, the Garden of Eden. Enki created that, built it. So when you're in the right area, it's not hard to figure it out. But it's so bizarre that people don't believe you. And Forrest intended it that way. Nobody's going to follow this guy. Yeah, he even tells. The ABC guys interviewed me when I was at the Once Upon a While signing, and I told them about what I found, and I gave them some of the clues to the beginning of the poem, or Warm Waters Halt, and the paddle up the creek, and yeah, you don't paddle up a waterfall. Yeah, and even the name of the creek says you can't paddle up it. So, it's not the name of the creek, but the meaning of the things. You got to look at the other meaning. He changes words, plays with words, So what do we want to talk about now? How long have we been on? 32 minutes. Let's go for an hour at least. Maybe I get a couple more watchers. Hey, you get 1,500 watching a gypsy's kiss. Nobody knows about me. I think they know I'm so close that they limit my viewers. Okay. I've answered most of them, but at least I hint at the answers. Where warm waters halt, yeah? What's the question about it? Because I don't. I told you warm waters halt 1,000 feet down, the world's deepest hot spring. Where he was saying begin it. Where warm waters, yeah. Think of Red Ryder. Red Ryder, that BB gun that he was killing them birds with, and his buddy. What does worth the cold mean? Well, some of like I said, in the winter, the leaves fall off the aspen trees, and you can see what's behind them from a distance. So, no, where warm waters halt has nothing to do with fishing. Nothing at all to do with fishing. But where the end of his rainbow does. You begin where there's no fishing, you end where there is fishing. You begin where there's a hot spring, you end where there's no hot spring. A cold spring. It's worth the cold spring. So I'm looking for springs coming out of the rock, things like that, where it might be a spring coming out of the rock and a little hole and the treasure's stuffed in there where the spring's coming out. But there's been so little snow and stuff up there that I don't know. What significance does Spot have for Fenn? He said in the first book that knowing Peggy was... See, it ran out on my phone. Knowing Peggy was there's somewhere waiting for him. Well, these are, tombs and very spiritual. There's thousands of Clovis tombs up there. And these Clovis people, I know they're Clovis because of the mammoth sculptures and mammoth carved mountains. It's not just one. There are many of them. And obviously on the first read, he implies she was there, but overlooked. But looked at closely, we know she wasn't there. Sarah McLaughlin, but there was a place, was a major. Oh, that's Sarah McLaughlin. Going to musicians, my eyes, and your brain does that. It picks up. And you were mentioning Peggy. I've got my cards that I had. You can find them on Zazzle, FeΩΩatic playing cards, and I got there's Forrest, Fenn, his two planes, FeΩΩatic on there with the trout, and him. He's got Harvey. Harvey's got the bracelet. And Harvey's imaginary rabbit. Imagination's better than knowledge. Fred Harvey owned Harvey Hotels, and they were like the stewardesses on the Harvey girls were like stewardesses on the Rio Grande Railroad. The Rio Grande Railroad goes near here. Harvey the rabbit. Harvey is, if you go to the La Fonda Hotel and behind the bar and all over the place, they got rabbits. Why do they have rabbits all over the La Fonda Hotel? It used to be the Harvey house. And same with when I stopped at one in Winslow, Arizona, there was a Harvey Hotel, and it's got another name now. And that was really neat. And I got some pictures of Fred Harvey and some of the train stuff. And I bought a little jewel box that I plan on. I got it all taped up in this. But there's a half-ounce Moby Dick silver coin in there, Pirateer silver coin in there, and there's some lapis or turquoise beads that look like just like the beads that are in the bracelet. I figured if I got to give the bracelet back to him before I do, make a copy of it so that I have one. His granddaughter can have the original, but I'll have a copy. And if we ever run into each other somewhere, hey, yeah, I'm a duck. That's what that, I'm a duck. But I was a fiber optics engineer and microwave engineer. I designed microwave systems for Sprint and fiber optic networks for Time Warner, MCI, Level 3, and all them companies. You go around measuring between the poles, tell them how much wire to put up on the pole, how much a loop to put, how much to put in the ground, and where to put the holes, and where the other stuff is, and So I was basically a map maker, and so following maps is an easy thing. And if you're good at maps and stuff, they say that really makes your brain a lot smarter because of the figuring out those maps. Forrest Fenn had only been to his spot a few times in his life. What kind of spot can that type of an impact on a person die? Well, this is the Clovis tombs and the mammoth temples. The mammoths are huge. If you haven't seen them, go to facebook.com/Elephant Temple Ruins, and you'll see that's a public page. They think I'm selling something on there, and they're, oh, do you want to boost this post? And, maybe when I get paid next time, maybe I'll pay $5 and get a few more viewers. But I don't pay for advertising. That's why Gal Lazar's has so many people watching him. Because one thing, Gypsy's Kiss mentions him. They don't mention me at all, except when I'm on the chat list. They don't want to tell they know I'm on it, but and they're keeping you away from me down there in New Mexico. There's a few times. Okay, Forrest Fenn made it sound like he only been there less than 5 times. Yeah, you wouldn't. he may have been there 5 times. It took me a year and a half to, after I found the first part, the blaze, the first blaze. I'm on my third blaze. The first blaze was the lake, that means same as wise, and same as title. It's a something type of title. There's a title and something that means wise. That's the meaning of the lake. And the second blaze was there was an alpha omega, an alpha like this, and inside the alpha it had 2 fingers like that. And Bessie he had Bessie's tail tied to his stool. So when Bessie yanks that stool out from him, he's upside down. And when I flip the picture over of that blaze with the 2 fingers, and it becomes cow udder. And there were cats around it. It's really neat. Nobody. That's part of the reverse, backward George Washington thing too. You know, backwards, upside down, inverted. These tombs. There are people represented laying on their back, looking up at the stars. Most of them are looking up like this, looking at the stars. They're looking to the heavens. The place is high in the mountains because it's close to heaven. Are you finding any cool collecting stuff along the way? Arrowheads. I think I got to find that. I've mostly been down around the bottoms of the structures, or it's cliffs, but there are places in between them that you can go up a slope. It's about a little more than a quarter mile up the slope, and then maybe about a quarter mile back out to the top of the cliff. So you go up the slope and then you come back over the top, and you can get to the temples. And some of them are rocks that have square holes cut in them. One of them has a human figure with a round head, and it looks like somebody leaning out of a window. That's really neat. I love this stuff. Basically, those ruins can be worth more than the treasure. There might be a lot of treasure up there. These people were Clovis people, but they're not like the Clovis people they tell you about that were mammoth hunters. These people were mammoth worshipers. They're hugging the mammoths. They got their head mashed into the head of the mammoth, forehead of the mammoth, praying to them. Most every mammoth figure has figures of humans on their forehead, facing them, hugging them, praying to them. They're very spiritual people, and they believe, like my parrot thinks that he calls food and water are both the water dripping sound. He drip, 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 bloop, 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 is his sound for food and water. So he'll make that sound. I know he needs some water in his bottle sometimes, or he wants some more food. He's eating right now, Togo. But so I got a parrot. Captain Kidd. You got to be a pirate. You got to play the part. I found one rock with Indiana Jones on it, and he's holding a sword, and the sword goes up, like this. And this side of the hat's one, it's like an Aztec guy, and the other side of the hat's an Aztec guy, and they're both looking in the middle. They were really good artists. But yeah, I found, and I think I'll go back and get that rock with Indiana Jones on it, because that's really cool. It's like this big a rock. It's not very light, but I can get it out of there. It's not far from the road, and it's real close to the elephants in the creek and the girl in the purple dress that there's a girl. Let's see which way. That way. If the camera doesn't reverse, let's see. Is it reversed? Yeah, it's reversed. So yeah, she's there with her head tilted. She's got a purple hat and a purple dress, and her hands are up on a painting that she's painting. I don't see any brushes in her hands. It looks like she's finger painting, but she's got a little painting there that she's working on. And my son says that there's some other figures in there. He'll have to point them out to me. See, your brain, once you see the main thing that you're focusing on, it makes it harder to see the other things. And even some of my people that well, 14,000 years of erosion. And they're like the girl in the purple dress, that purple is so faded. I turn the saturation up in the picture and the colors come out. And the whole rest of that rock face there, you can see is colored and shaped. There are straight cut squares and, perfect squares. And there's, what do they call it? Geometry to it, basically. That can't be natural. When you have that much geometry to the thing and cuts in the rocks and things like that, that's not natural. And when you got the figures are one after another, 5 guys standing here, one guy standing there would be cool. And usually that pareidolia, you see half a face. And the other thing is, I talked to 2 doctors yesterday, and they told me it's not pareidolia, that these are actually ruins. The only problem is getting a date on it. And so they're going to be taking their students up there to research it and search. And I'm going to be getting with them to go up there and show them some of the stuff where things are. But I don't tell them which one is the blaze, what I've gotten figured out, But there's so much up there that you're going to have trouble narrowing it down. Okay. Did you find any artifacts? Okay. Oh, the tusk. That's the one thing I might be able to get that they can carbon date. There's a figure with I'm not going anywhere. I'm just changing my where'd we go? Yeah. So there's a figure up there. There's a mammoth figure. And there's a guy sitting on the mammoth trunk, on the mammoth tusk. And the tusk comes up like this. And it's all rock. Except there's a white tip sticking out of the end of the rock. It's like rock. The stucco's all around it, but there's a white tip sticking up like that. And I think that might actually be a mammoth tusk that's been covered with this mortar or this pump, the stucco. And so that's one spot that I could go to. And if that is a mammoth tusk, that can be carbon dated. As long as it isn't as old as Forrest tusk that he found. Just having fun, man. You can't take life too seriously. Okay. Well, where's my other hat? There it is. Okay. So, you got any more elephant question? There's the mammoth in his book, the mammoth tusk, and there's 3 jars of cloves in Peg's drawer. Why are there 3 jars of cloves? Because of the Clovis people. And the jars relate to his hidden jars. The bell with the frogs in the Thrill of the Chase. That picture with there's the jar, picture of the jar and the bell with the frogs on it next to it, and that bell with the frogs, it resembles the little purse thing that Enki and them guys carry around, which is their medicine bag with their ayahuasca and their spiritual medicine. Oh. Woo! Okay, it's too warm in here. So So I call this guy. Where is he? Come on, get your hat on straight. This is Willie Mammoth. Willie, yeah, like Bill. Yeah. Yeah, I got this after I found the mammoth. I said, I got to get a mammoth. Because when you're going up there and talking to these spirits, they don't know if you see them or not. But if you put this on, the ghosts that see up there, there's an afterlife. It's pretty powerful. How you know, there's something, you're able to program your life, but you got to totally believe in it. If you don't believe in yourself, then your possibilities are limited. Yeah, you don't see people that aren't confident. You don't see people that aren't confident accomplishing a lot. And when you got, you know, all this supernatural, it's almost supernatural how I got to the spot. So there's when you have all this supernatural energy about it, that's positive, all this positive energy, it attracts negative energy. That's why I have so many haters. That's why all of those people are, they're all against me, because I have a very strong positive force against this huge negative force, you know? That's how things work. You know, the strong magnet's going to pull something from farther away. But right now, my aura, the nearest other person is a half mile away, my neighbor. So their energy, they can't really reach me. I just void it out, you know. Somebody attacks me, insults me, I insult them back. They don't like that. They don't expect that. They're surprised that, oh, I should have kept my mouth shut. And a lot of them do keep their mouth shut. I don't take easy to insults. You know. I'll tell you where to put your head. And of course, I'd like to tell them double blazes to you. You know what that means, because I told you earlier what the double blazes were. So, who else is still? 6 people only? I must be censored on YouTube. And all these people, oh, you said you had, Dale thought that thing right there, that stripe on that rock, I'm going to go look right there. You know, that's no different than what I've done. Dale's just been doing it a lot longer. And he's been wrong a lot longer. I'm not wrong. I'm close. Very close. And I can laugh at the people that don't think I am. Because I've outsmarted them. I quit watching Calazars. Since he started his Forrest Fenn Says, I haven't watched any of them. I don't need, you know. He said, oh, that's pareidolia. And all. That's an insult to me. When that's like calling Chaco Canyon pareidolia. You know, when you see ruins, and I've seen a lot more of it than I've shown you. You know what it is. You know, it's like somebody telling you that your mother's not your mother. You know, I mean, you can't do that. That's like saying this isn't a lighter. You know, it's ridiculous. You can't. It's like it's kind of like the the whole Trump thing. And the Democrats lie and lie and lie and lie. They just lie out their ass. And I just saw a thing yesterday that Obama's FBI asked Angela Merkel, or not Angela Merkel, not Merkel, Theresa May, the UK's prime minister, asked her to spy on Trump Tower, certain floors of Trump Tower and stuff. And that's where that Steele guy that they're subpoenaing, he's hiding, and for making this false document. And then Schiff and Feinstein sending a letter to Facebook and Twitter asking them to cut all comments that say release the memo. They're trying to get them to censor that information. Shut those people up. Don't listen to those Americans. We're calling them Russians. They're Russians. The Russians. And not one of the people, the Russians aren't posting release the memo. It's Americans. Dianne Feinstein has her face up her C. Yeah. You know, what? Those people are so stupid, they think that we can't see through their lies. I mean, Obama's going to be in prison. George Soros may already be dead. That was when the airport in Atlanta shut down because an unauthorized jet took off without clearance, and it got shot down. It got shot down. So, and we haven't heard from George Soros since then. So he's probably already dead. And I know the Podestas are, at least one of them's already in Gitmo. So, okay, back. I gotta get off the politics, you know. Of course, I would have never voted for Hillary. I don't like Republicans. Donald Trump ain't a Democrat or Republican. He's a businessman, and he knows how to make business work right. And government is basically a business, you know, and they're tyrants. But that's going away. We're going to have a lot more freedom very soon, and those criminals are going to get locked up. So, okay, get off that. Still got 6. Wow, even after that rant. So, yeah, what else we got going? How much time we got? 57 minutes. Ain't got an hour yet. Let's beat the amount of time the Gypsy's Kiss video the other day. While they were doing their video, I wasn't in the chat at that time because I was meeting with the 2 PhDs about my archaeology, and they agree with me. So anybody who wants to go against me, you know, these doctors, yeah, you know, they know what I'm seeing. He was very excited to see. It was, wow, neat. Oh, I like that. You know, and it's the date thing. I got to find something they can date the charcoal. Oh, what else? Anything else out of the books here? Yeah, let's see. I got my book. See, I got things highlighted in there like his hands. You know, they're and the one they're not pointing at the marbles. They're pointing at the marbles, right? But the hand and the hand sign, the Indian peace sign. This is an elephant and stuff. You know, those are important. Let's see, what else is in the book? Okay. And he says, I casually rested my bare arm on the head of a bronze Indian. Who can tell me what this is? I would ask. Someone would usually reply, it's an Indian. Another would say, it's an art. A third would blurt out, it's a bronze. His elbow. So you're looking for the elbow sitting on the bronze. Okay. So I'm looking for it in his hand that's in the pocket, or I'm looking for it under his elbow, under an elbow figure, and that's the other thing. These rocks, a lot of them are there with their hands in their pockets. Some of them have X's. They got an X on their chest, before the cross was an X. It's still a cross. It's two cross lines, but they're like this, and they turned it like that. So all they did was change things. Some people don't know, like the swastika. Before it was a swastika, it was the equivalent of the yin-yang. It was a yin-yang symbol, and peace and love and stuff. And obviously, it became something else. So you got to know those type of things. The other thing is Doug Preston. The Codex is a book he wrote that was because of Forrest Fenn telling him about his treasure he hid. I started reading it, and I'm not like Forrest. You got to do a lot to get me interested, and it's more of a fictional thing than actual, but there could be some clues in there. I'm just not the biggest reader. Yeah, you doing, Clint? They arrest Teresa yet? Yeah, criminal government people. Yeah, you're going to see me on Ancient Aliens. I even talked to, I'm in communication with some archaeologists in Peru and South Africa and Europe. I don't know if Toodle's on here. His name Tootle. That's his name. But he comments on my stuff. But anyhow, he's over there in Italy or somewhere near there. France, maybe Switzerland. I don't know. I have a friend that knows the Phil Collins, who lives in Switzerland, and boy, that'd be fun to go over there. Yeah, I get some money, I'll pay for a trip, and then I can meet Phil Collins if I fly my friend over there too. Or maybe when he's doing a tour in Central America and Mexico and stuff, Latin America, but no visits here, and I don't go down there, especially with my RV, because I got my shotgun and things like you gotta have a gun to go hunt some of these areas, because there's bears and there's 200-pound mountain lions. The sheriff there told me, he says, when you go out treasure hunting, make sure and bring your gun with you, because I've seen cats 200 pounds. And but this area really close to the road, not much chance, not when you're close to the road, but you get back there a little, a few hundred feet off the road, you might see them. And then you see on the roads the deer running across in front of your car. And I'll give you a tip. When you're driving and you see a deer across the road, proceed with caution. Normally, there's more than one deer. I knew this. I was in Oregon, and that's before I got my dash cam. And that's the reason I got my dash cam. I was coming along, and I seen a deer across the road 100 yards up ahead, and I slowed down. I was doing because he crossed the road, and I was slowing down to 5-10 miles an hour, and car coming the other way, it slowed down initially for that deer to cross, and then it hit the gas, and sure enough, another deer popped out. That car nailed that deer, and that deer flew right across my hood. His hooves missed my hood by that much. It's like, wow, I wish I had a dash cam for that, because that deer just flew right across, and I heard him in the bush kicking, and the guy busted up his legs at least, and the deer had, so I called the troopers, and they probably went out there and shot it. So, and I have really good premonitions and ESP and stuff. That helps me get there. Okay, I gotta put this. I went to. Yep. Yep. That's what this is about. Indy. I found the rock with Indiana Jones. I'll go post that again. So you all can see it. Why the similarity of horseshoes and omegas? Yeah, the horseshoes and omegas are pretty much the same thing. The N's in his name are the same thing. The N's are omegas. And W's are omegas too. You know, it's like the big W. Look under the big W, and there's the palm trees like this and like this, made a W, and the treasure was right below the W. The lowercase omega, it looks like a W. Yeah, you got to if you want to have some real fun, go watch some videos by Peter Kane, dog trainer. He does dog training videos, which are he has serious information, but like me, he got a good sense of humor. You know, and then he does his Bigfoot videos. He's been sexually molested by Bigfoot. It's just funny as hell. Well, okay. Oh, one day it will be an alien gray. I got to that. Well, what animal has 2 legs and wears a horseshoe? I don't know. One of them. What are they? Manitars or what? I don't know. See the guy's vid's amazing. Seen him? Yeah, he's funny as shit. Do you think that Forrest Fenn way of using the symbolism to state he was leaving his print on history with the omega symbols? Well, I don't know if you've seen my thing. It's if you go, even if you're not a member on Facebook of my thing, you can see the my Forrest Fenn Fanatics page, and the cover picture there, it says Fenn has a fish on it and 2 hooks. That's the final blaze. You gotta look really hard to find that. It takes supernatural stuff like finding it on Christmas morning. Omega. Yeah, that's why I put you see the title of the video here as the omegas. Well, it's not showing it, is it? Yeah, it is. FeΩΩatic Live. Yep. So we got 7. We got 1 more. I had 8, lost 1. I'm surprised that I'm able to stream with my bad Verizon service, but they allow my phone to get more data than they allow my computer. They cut my computer down to like 1% of the regular speed. So maybe omega represents rainbows. Each person. Yeah. There's omega. Rainbow is an omega, and also the poem follows omega shape, the path of the poem, and it goes from cold water or warm water to cold water, and the other way is the same thing. You can consider it the same thing. One thing, the Continental Divide is a place where warm waters halt from the Atlantic. All the waters from the Atlantic halt at the Continental Divide. And so that's why he says there's many places that warm water halts. Anywhere that a creek, river, tributary comes from the east side of the Continental Divide, it goes to warm water. So it's like, okay, I got a big target where warm waters halt. Take it in the canyon down, not far but too far to walk. You're zooming in and closing in on your target. But like some of the Clovis art I've found, there's a face there. But if you keep looking at it, you find 20 faces in the thing. It depends on what way you look at it, and you're gonna. The poem repeats. It does repeat. The things are over and over, and you know, it just like the omegas, omega, omega. You're playing your parts. I'm playing the part, and he said that it'd be an omnipotent guru that would find it. So I've changed my title on omnipotent guru, and I got that accidental picture of me on the log, and I didn't realize that the sun behind me was gonna blurt my whole head out, turn my whole head into a bright starburst. And then when I looked up on Omnipotent Guru, and I find the guy, his head is a bright, it's like, just like that, just like Forrest in front of his mural on the wall with the sun behind him, you know. And you'll see many religious pictures that are that way too. But yeah, that was not intentional. What I did in that, how I got that picture in that video that I got up there, that was not intentional at all. The Grand Canyon made. That's where the gold is. Yeah, oh yeah. No, it's all in the ocean. Keeps going, washed into the ocean. I wonder how much is at the bottom of the. No, I wouldn't get to the bottom of the dam, because once it's a lake, the gold probably ends close to where the water enters the lake. Not enough current to move the gold after that. But there might be some deep pockets. It's like Gold Beach. All the gold on the beach came from the mountains that washed down the river, down the Rogue River in Oregon. Okay, that's Canyon down. If you start at the Continental Divide, yeah. Well, you see, the other thing he tells you, take it in the canyon down. But after that, he says there's no paddle up your creek. Okay, so you're going down, you're going back up. Then you go down, you go back up. It's omega, omega. Up, down, up, down. It's a cycle. It's like the beginning and the end. I found many alpha omegas. Yep. Yeah, and the route that you follow is an omega shape. Yeah, you can. There's even an omega on the map. In Too Far to Walk, map in the back of there. There's omegas. There's one in Rocky Mountain. Find the omega in the words Rocky Mountain. It's the omega shape. Oh, I like the shape of the fishing line catching the star on the hook. Yeah, I think that star might be I've got a picture on Forrest Fenn Fanatics of the fishing line, the rock, and I got the rock, and there's the hand, the head, and the hand going up, and the one going straight over. And all you got to do is add the pole and the line to it. And even that last video I had, you can see the hook curve coming down. And so that gave me some clues right there. Sometimes wow, I didn't see that before. So I better go look there too. And nobody's going to go right to it. The only person that can go right to it is Forrest Fenn. He's the only one that can go right to it. He knows I'm close. He doesn't reply to any of my messages. He's very friendly at the signing and everything, and he's a real nice guy. I really dig Forrest Fenn. He's a year older than my dad would have been, but my dad died in 2000. He was killed by the hospital. They turned his heart-lung machine on in reverse, blew his heart up like a balloon, and sent the contents of the filter of the machine into his lungs, destroyed 75% of his lungs. He was sedated for 4 months, and when he came out of sedation, he told the nurses it was raining in his room. Okay, that was my son calling, and I'm getting very tired anyhow. So I'm going to end it here and call him right back. I had to ignore it so I can end my video. So have a good day. Yeah, I came back on, but yeah, I got to call my son back. He's got something to tell me. How, I don't know how to. Where is it? Did it end? I don't know how to. Stop. Yeah, somewhere. If I could find the stop button, where do I get? How do I stop it? There's a message button. There's a camera button. Is that it? Boom. Let's try that. Huh? Oh, that's my wires. Yeah, thing, come on, phone. You gotta tap twice. Is that it? Nope. Share, mute microphone. Okay. Well, I'm going to do it this other way. I'm going to turn YouTube off. I don't know how to. There's no stop button. There is no stop button, YouTube. What am I supposed to do? Kill my phone? I don't know. This is crazy. I don't know how to stop it. Back to normal. Yeah, I know. Okay, I'm going to keep talking until I get this thing to stop. I don't know what the dang problem is. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to power my phone off. Bye-bye.